Okay. If you're someone who keeps convincing yourself as to why your goal, your dream, your transitioning won't work the way that you want to, and you keep convincing yourself and you keep convincing other people who confront you, then this one is for you. So, I have a lot of amazing clients who have obviously human brains just like mine, who keep feeling like because I don't have this experience, or because I didn't work for UN, because I didn't have the business experience, because I don't have the business mind, or because of this, because of that, I can't have that outcome that I desperately want. And that's how they keep convincing themselves not to go to that transitioning they want to. And I will give you two examples of how I was just coaching a client on this and how I did it myself as well, many, many times. So I have a client who wants to work on name recognition, personal brand, whichever the way you want to call it, and being more visible on social media. And we were discussing how to do that, how he could be visible. And we were also discussing what he could be talking about and what his expertise and all of this. And then I also mentioned that there is an article that I read that I find very interesting, and people at these levels that he's in, if they wrote about this, I think it would be interesting for many people. So I happened to mention that article and I shared that article. And then his brain, like many of our brains would do, right? Our brains would just say, oh, he has this profile, he has this experience, I don't have it, therefore I can't really be doing it this way, or I can't do it at all, right? This is the reaction that our brain will come up and fight against the thing that we're really wanting. And that's what fear does. Fear comes up with sophisticated ways to say, but you don't understand. Here is the person with this profile, with this level of experience. I don't have it. So obviously I can't really do it. And then we're just going into not doing it and keep finding more proof and reasons why the way we're going to do won't work. Right? And that's why I titled my live session today as if my clients keep saying things like, but Asel, you don't understand. My situation is this one. My worry is this one. My fear is this one. Therefore, I can't really do it. Or I don't have this experience. I don't come from this country. I don't have the Ivy League. And that's why I can't really do this, is what many people keep wanting to tell me. Now, let me share my own experience of how I used to try to convince every one of my coaches as to how what they're asking me is what I cannot do, right? And to a point, at some point, one of my coaches asked me, what would you like me to say? Right? What would you like me to say? What would you like me to say that, oh, Asel, yes, I pity you. I understand you. I see now that you convinced me how you can't really do that thing, and therefore how you can't really get that outcome. Yes, I see. And therefore, let's just give up and not do anything about it. Is that really what you're wanting me to say to you, right? That's what they would say. And I hear this and I'm happy that they shook me that way, because I was going back to the same old pattern of, but you don't understand. I have this special circumstance. I am this special person. I don't have this thing, and therefore I can't get to, as if I'm trying to get other people's pity and understanding and keep asking them, please understand and be compassionate with me and don't push me, or don't mirror to me how I actually am staying in my own BS story of how because of this and because of this I can't live that life I want to. Right? So I can see this in many of my clients' patterns, and as I have done this myself so many times, that I can immediately detect it when someone is feeling this, but Asel, you don't understand me, right? And when you are saying this, I really want you to look at what is it that you're asking the other person, or what is it that you are hoping the other person will tell you. Because if you talk to family members or if you talk to friends, they will probably say things like compassionate way of, yes, I hear you. I understand you. Yes, the market is bad. The funding crisis is bad. Everything is falling apart. You shouldn't do anything risky. Obviously, you should stay where you are. That's what they will probably tell you. And while that feels good to hear and get confirmation as to how you are making the right choice, except that this is not getting you out of that pattern at all. And that's why you need a coach who can tell you, yes, I understand you, and here is what we can do to get out of that pattern. And in the beginning, it may feel very uncomfortable to hear that. Because if you're so used to telling everyone, but you don't understand what I'm going through, right? And feeling so defensive or feeling hurt. And I have been in that situation many times, except that staying in that, wanting to get other people's confirmation as to how bad my situation is, hasn't solved my situation. It has confirmed to me how I should be currently pitying myself, how I'm not capable, confirming to, like, getting confirmation from others as to how I'm right about it. That's what it did, except that that's not what is helping me getting out of that pattern of keep using everyone and everything as a reason for why I cannot do the thing that I want to. So, if you are in this situation currently, what I'm describing, where you feel like, but Asel, you don't understand what I'm going through, and then you lay out all of your reasons why you couldn't do the thing that you want to get to the outcome you want, I would really like for you to have your own honest conversation with yourself and say, okay, what is it that I'm hoping by convincing others and convincing myself as to what I want won't work? Right? What is it that I'm hoping to achieve by doing it? By convincing myself, getting more confirmation from others and getting more confirmation as to how I'm not capable of getting to the outcome that I want to. What is it that I'm hoping to achieve by finding more proof? Right? Because I think that's really what we're not realizing, is that we're not realizing how we're trying to find more proof as to what we want does not work. And that's exactly what fear wants us to do, except that we're not recognizing that this is what fear is making us to do. Instead, we're just taking it as the truth as to how other people should be understanding, or I should be understanding of how I cannot do the thing that I want to, therefore stay in the situation that I don't like to be in. That's not getting us anywhere. And you probably have been in that situation so many times. I have been in so many times as well. And what I know to be true, that when I kept being in there, but you don't understand, this is my situation, this is why I can't do this is why I am someone who should be pitied, this is why I should get compassion from all the people, this is why this is why that. All I did afterwards was staying in my confirmation of how true I am, or how right I am about what's going on in my life, and feeling bad about myself, and delaying all of the things that I could have done but didn't, because I was just so desperate for getting other people's confirmation of how right I was, rather than getting out of my own pattern that is working against my own dreams and visions. Right? So if you find yourself in this situation, and if you even find yourself with conversations in your family and in your with your loved ones, or maybe with your own coach, you could really look at it and say, okay, what is it that I'm trying to achieve here? Yes, okay, I can get other people's compassion. Yes, okay, I can get other people's understanding. Then what? Right? Still the question of what do we do afterwards? And what do we do afterwards is we start looking at, okay, I am using this self-pity, I'm using my whatever the situation is as a way to prove to myself that I can't move on, as a way to prove to myself that I can't get to the outcome I want to. This is my way of telling myself that I don't live my vision. I don't want to live my vision because I'm not willing to solve anything that is standing in between, which is really usually ourselves, right? We are the ones standing in between. And having that honest conversation and say, is that really how I want to approach this transitioning? Where I keep proving every step of the way as to how what I want is not possible. Therefore, let me keep finding more reasons why it won't work. Or I decide that I'm no longer in that pattern anymore, right? I no longer am someone who finds more reasons to prove how what I want is not possible. Instead, I'm now someone who finds more proof as to how it is possible, and let me get to work and do that. Right? And it can be anything that you might be using currently, right? It can be even things like, well, I did this networking and it didn't work, therefore, obviously, I won't get the thing that I want to. Or I hate marketing and therefore, obviously, I can't really do the business the way I want to. Or I'm not good at sales calls, therefore, obviously, I should just give up instead of figuring out how to get good at sales calls in the most genuine, authentic way that I want to. Do you see, if we're just going with the pattern of, yeah, but you don't understand, this is my situation and this is what's going on and this is bad and this is here, what we're really reinforcing is we get good at defending our reasoning for why we're not the person we say we are. We get good at defending our fears instead of advocating for our dreams, instead of figuring out how to live the dream that we keep telling that that's what we want. Right? So the more we reinforce the pattern of, but you don't understand, this is and this and this is, what we're really reinforcing is, I'm so afraid and I'm trying hard to find all the reasons why my fear is valid, and stay there. And as long as we keep staying there, then we just keep reinforcing even more how afraid we are, how we don't want to fail, how we're not cut out for it, how this, how that. But if you feel that, okay, I'm done convincing myself of how impossible my dream is, I'm done convincing myself and others as to how they should all understand and how they should all pity me and how they should all have compassion with me, and then not do anything about it, I'm done with it. Or I want the compassion and then I decide, okay, I have the compassion of people now. Now here is how I'm going to actually hold myself accountable or get someone else hold accountable to me. And then I start doing the things that feel so uncomfortable. right? So I was talking, or I was coaching my client, in this example that I told you, I was telling him the same thing. I was telling him that as long as we keep using this pattern, nothing will change. As long as we keep using other people's profiles, other people's number of experience, other people's, this is the reason why they are succeeding and I'm not, we will never learn how to succeed ourselves. And if you don't want to keep doing that to yourself, and especially if you don't want to keep losing time doing it, and then going to a desperate space, then we need to change that pattern. And that pattern, the first thing that we need to really start looking is, oh, I see that I'm using their experience, I'm using their I don't know, university degree, I'm using their country of origin, I'm using their UN experience, whatever it is, I'm using them to stall myself, to stop myself, to figuring out how I could do things myself in my own way. What am I going to do to figure this out? So that I no longer stay in this, but you don't understand space. So I no longer stay in this defensive and advocating against my own dream place. And the more you recognize it, you start looking at, oh, I see that I'm using this against myself, against my own dreams. Why would I do that? And then the next thing is you start looking at, okay, how is it my way of doing it? And let me figure it out. And you start figuring out another way. And then it will get uncomfortable in the process of doing it. And that's the point of starting to face your fear, do things while you have the fear, but recognizing that that's what fear does. Fear keeps you in the place that you really don't want to be in. And then when you start seeing also that the more you keep wanting to convince others, the more you keep wanting to convince yourself how your dreams are impossible, or maybe you will have the opposite reaction, by the way, you will be mad at others for not understanding you enough. Maybe you will deflect your anger and your hatred or hurt to others and say, well, you don't understand me, obviously. Right? And if you keep staying in that deflection mode of how you are now focusing on how they don't understand you and how they should understand you, how they should be doing this and how they are not, and therefore you are hurt and you thought they were this, they were this. If you stay in that realm, you are reinforcing that pattern again. So in order not to reinforce this anymore, you need to start being onto yourself and seeing, okay, I see that I'm using these people or this profile or this thing against myself. I don't want to do that. I also see that someone who's mirroring me the truth, I want to attack them or I want to get hurt by them. I want to blame them, but I don't want to do that because they're just telling me what the truth of what might be going on inside me and I don't like it either. So let me do something with it. And if you'd like to do this together to get you out of this pattern and into a more powerful state of, okay, here's how I'm going to figure out, let me do this, I would like for you to join my group and individual combo program, Transitioning Humanitarians Community. We need to get you to really look at your, whatever the thing that your fear is stopping you from doing, and facing it, recognizing it, and then deciding what to do with it. So if you'd like to do